welcome back. Sorry, I'm over here looking at my computer, child. Oof, child. Now my lashes and stuff is acting crazy, child. But welcome back. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for coming. It's like hard looking at the camera and then I feel like my eyes look crazy and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm trying to look at the camera and I got these lashes on and it's late. But welcome back to my channel. My name is Kay, also known as Kali, Deep in the Streets. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and my podcast, The Perfect Blend. If you haven't already, I want you to pull out your phone and I want you to go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Overcast, Google Podcasts. I'm available on 9 platforms, Radio Republic as well, and Podbean, I think, as well. Yeah. Subscribe to my show. If there are any topics that you want to hear on either my audio podcast or my YouTube channel, please feel free to comment below in the comments of this video with anything you want to chat about. If I feel like it aligns with me, I will definitely, do my research and talk about it or just give my opinion and my thoughts on it and my sentiments on it, right? Also, too, I want to encourage you to check out one of my recent podcast episodes and visual YouTube videos that I did here on YouTube. It's an interview that I did with my friend Michael Castro, in which we talked about OnlyFans and their journey with OnlyFans and how that's been for them and sex work and so forth. So it's a dope, fun conversation. I really hope that you all check it out. Help your girl get the views up, like, comment, share, subscribe. It means so much to me. And for those of you who have watched, I want to say thank you so much. Shout out to my friend who was the first one to comment. You know who you are, Miss Nikki. I love you so much. And yeah, I'm always giving thanks. I'm a very thankful. I believe in gratitude and being thankful for support and like positive things in your life. So I'm one of those people. Sorry, y'all. I'm a little sleepy. I'm like my eyes, ugh, child. But no. Thank you all for returning. So over this last week, so I just want to say before I get into this next topic for this video, I'm going to be discussing Dwayne Wade and his ex-wife and Zaya Wade and all of the drama and craziness that's going on with that as his ex-wife files these allegations against him that are disgusting and transphobic, right? But I also want to just explain the bigger picture of what's going on. But before I do that, I want to say last week was fucking terrible for me. Last week was horrible for me. And it wasn't because of the videos I put out, because people be in the comments saying stuff. It wasn't that towards me directly. But I had a situation in the workplace, right, where I was doing a virtual training. And this training was with cis woman predominantly, who I'm not going to say too much because people might watch this particular video, although I'm not popular or anything like that. But we were doing a virtual training about certain topics that, discuss like domestic violence and things like that, right? And it was a presentation in which the LGBTQ portion came up with an LGBTQ presenter, right? For a certain organization and so forth, right. I don't want to get too messy because people might see this video in these spaces, whatever, right? I'm just using this as an example as to what we deal with and why I was a little triggered last week. Just a tad bit triggered. It was a long week. It gave me a headache. But I had a situation in which 2 cis women made some transphobic comments towards me. I'm not victimizing myself or nothing like that. Every time I feel like that's even like me kind of gaslighting myself in a way, but I feel like every time we speak up about these things, people always try to invalidate what we experience as trans people. Who trans people who literally like live our lives and we're being authentic to ourselves. I had a situation where basically before the presenter got to talk about the domestic violence and intimate partner violence that LGBTQIA plus people face, 2 cisgender women, raised their hands and they were like, hey, we feel that, trans women are basically liars. This is what they said. I'm paraphrasing. They were like, we feel that trans women are liars and that basically they're really men and that's why they experience the violence that they experience. That's what was said, right? And immediately when it was said, I handled it with class. I addressed both of them because it was myself and like 3 other trans and non-binary people in this particular training for work. You know what I mean? So, and mind you, these are not coworkers of mine. We all don't know each other, so I'm safe. Like, I don't even know these people, and like, outside of that setting. But I'm gonna use it as an example as to, what we still deal with to this day, and honestly, how we still have work to do, but it showed me that people are still very, very, very transphobic, right? And people often wonder why trans people speak up the way that we do, why gay people speak up the way that they do against homophobia, why all of I call us the rainbow children, child, why all of the rainbow tribes speak up about things that offend us, whether you're non-binary, lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, gender fluid, whomever you are in the rainbow children, child. There are moments where you interact in these different spaces in life in which people have their views, right? People have their views. They feel how they fucking feel, right? But my issue, and this is why I called both of the women out, I was just like, I get that I can't change how you think because that's ignorant, right? So I told them, I was like, that's very ignorant what you said, but do we want to take this and have it as an educational moment, or are you just going to be a bigot? I was like, because I just want to encourage you to be critical about what you're saying, because you have open up your mind to the fact that trans people are human, and we go through things, we deal with relationships in which we don't have certain protections and laws and regulations that even protect us if we experience domestic violence or any type of violence, right? There are, to this day in 2022, even if you're in the most liberal of places, such as in New York or Atlanta or wherever you are on the west coast of Cali, or wherever you are, LA, whatever you are, there are still not a lot of protections for trans people. It's just not. Trans, non-binary, if you fall within that sector, I love this hair. If you fall within that sector, it's tough, like dealing with situations with DV and stuff. So I was really offended because this is a 40-hour training, by the way, where we meet twice a week and you spend 5 hours twice a week, right? So I was so annoyed because we have sat through, at that time, we said about 5 presentations in which other identities and minorities got to express DV from their perspective. There's different forms of domestic violence and so forth, right? But when it came to the LGBTQ portion, I just was very upset because I was like, the presenter didn't even get to fully present, and both of those women said those things. They basically said, hey, trans women are really men, that's why they go through what they go through, and that's it. And I was like, that first of all, you're erasing a trans woman's, because they were specifically talking about trans women. They weren't talking about nobody else. This wasn't about non-binary. This wasn't about nobody else. They were particularly talking about trans women, not trans men, nothing like that. But I still was like, first of all, you are erasing this trans woman's identity, and you are misgendering her, right? Second of all, you got to be critical about what you say. You have to be socially aware of who's in the room, because I'm in the room. You got several other people who are in the room, and we have all been supportive of you, of y'all cisgender women in this space, and we have allowed y'all to. We've been supportive. We understand. We're not. It's not that type of vibe. Like, we're not competing about who you're doing. And I called both of them out because I was like, you're doing an oppression Olympics type bullshit, and you're also invalidating myself and other people who are in this room. And it's like, on a personal level, I'm not going to get too personal, but it's like, you don't know what any of us have dealt with in our lives for you to even say something like that, even if you think it's true. Checked in, gave them the floor to talk about it. One of them was like, well, it's just facts, and I'm doubling down on it. So I got a little quiet. Talk to the leader and the director of the org and all that, and they were, full of BS, and I'm gonna say it, full of BS, complete BS, child. But, we came back and tried to talk about it. They still didn't want to talk about it, and that was that, right? And we only had literally like 1 or 2 allies who actually like spoke up for us, but leadership is terrible. Things happen in life. But I share that to say that transphobia is not okay, and I just think that this is why. But what I'm learning is that it will continue to happen, unfortunately, because transphobia is still very alive. It's still very well, and I think that sometimes us who are more in a safer area, and this is where I can acknowledge that I'm like, okay, well, I live in a relatively progressive place. I'm kind of in a bubble now. I didn't used to be in a bubble growing up, but now with me curating my life and putting myself in spaces where I'm comfortable. You know, trying my best to not put myself in spaces where I'm uncomfortable or have people making me feel some type of way, or people who are outing me, or people who are trying to weaponize my identity against me, or people who are trying to invalidate me, right? I think by the grace of God, I've been able to, I want to file my nails as I do this, sorry y'all, because one of my nails is longer than the other. But by the grace of God, I have been able, I hope this doesn't annoy you. Maybe I should do an ASMR video. An ASMR video of me doing my nails if you all are into that. I'm sorry, I was checking the time. But, you know, now I'm kind of in a bubble, and it just kind of reminded me of, you know, how much more work we have to do. And it hurt me in that moment to speak up. And I'm not even like trying to be some fake advocate or something like that. Like, that really bothered me and it broke my heart, because it was just like, damn, like, we can't even have our moment, girl. Like, you can't let the kids just talk about what we go through. When I say the kids, I mean the LGBTs, child, the rainbow. Like, you can't let us just talk about the real stuff that we deal with, because your head is so far up your ass and you think you're the only one who experiences violence at the hands of men. Oh, and also too, when we talked about it the second time, I told them, I'm like, first of all, you're wrong, and I just want to give you the floor so we can have an educational moment. Maybe I was asking for too much, I think, because I was caught off guard. So I'll call myself out about that. These are so pretty. Oh my God, these are so beautiful. I'll call myself out about that. But I told them, I was like, first of all, you are wrong, and basically you're a part of the problem. You're upholding abusers and people who cause harm and patriarchy. Like, you're fully invested in that as a woman. And it's just a shame that you don't even see that your head is so far gone up your fucking ass and you're being a fucking bigot right now. But I encourage them to be bigots. So I share all that to say, now, this doesn't fully relate to the Dwayne Wade and Zaya Wade situation, but both of these situations happened at the same time, and it was really exhausting, because I was just can't even talk. I was very disappointed in the Black community, because when we're all on our phones or whatever, and we're looking at these blogs and stuff, we're all looking at the popular blogs. No need to say their names, but we're all looking at these popular ratchet ass blogs that often have good content sometimes, and most of the content is toxic, right? There's usually nothing really positive on these blogs, because the goal, and no shade to the blogs. I like the blogs. I think the blogs have a function, right? But there are moments where, and it's not even the blog's fault, it's the people who are watching the blogs and what they're saying behind their phones. So last week the story broke that Dwayne Wade's ex-wife went to court and filed some sort of motion to stop Dwayne Wade from allowing Zaya Wade, his daughter, and their daughter with the ex-wife, to transition and go through with her whole transition process, name change, etc., right? She stated that she feels that he is doing it, paraphrasing y'all, that he's doing it allegedly for financial gain, and that he's also trying to force a sex change on Zaya, their child together, right? It was so exhausting reading those comments, because the Wades, which is Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Wade, Gabrielle Wade, damn it, Gabrielle Union Wade, Dwayne Wade is a famous basketball player, you all, and he's married to now his current wife, Gabrielle Union, who's an actress, wonderful woman, plays some good parts in Hollywood and stuff like that. But Gabrielle Union Wade, anyways, this story shook people up, because within the Black community just has so much work to do. And I just think that I just became very exhausted seeing all those comments of like, yeah, that's right, y'all trying to force that on that kid. And people keep like demonizing trans people. And it just broke my heart, because these are Black people who are the same skin tone as us. And we just have to stop and look at what Dwayne Wade represents. For him to be a cisgender Black man, and for him to be a Black man, I'm gonna use layman terms. For him to be a Black man supporting his trans child, that's something that you don't see publicly, let alone with a Black celebrity. Black celebrities are good for like being quiet about stuff and not really trying to cause too much trouble, or most of them are pretty like flimsy, or I don't want to say flimsy, but most Black celebrities often are very invested. Oh, I might get some backlash for saying this, but I will say I'm just being critical. I'm just using my little critical analysis here. I do think that there are a lot of times where black celebrities just kind of go with the status quo because they are a celebrity. It's like a lot of them don't really push the grain, and if they do push the grain, not even just black celebrities, celebrities in general, if they do push the grain, oftentimes it's usually done for marketing and so forth. Even if it's still a genuine thing that the celebrity cares about, it's still used to help their business. And because if you are a famous person, you are an entity, you are a product in some sort of way, depending on what type of fame you have and what you are putting your name behind and what your name is and what your name carries, right? With that being said, I just think that it's for trans people and LGBTQ people, but trans people specifically who can relate to not having our families, not having our family support. When you look at the stats of what black LGBTQ people and brown LGBTQ people of color predominantly go through once we transition for trans people, or once we come out the closet for gay people or bisexual people and so forth, and non-binary people as well. We deal with a lot of challenges. We deal with a lot of challenges from our family. It affects our housing. It affects our education. It hits us in all these different ways where it's really hard. And a lot of us, and this is not all of our story. I can't speak for everyone because there are some black individuals in the black community who have supportive families. Like there are some Zayaways running around, right? There are some black families, for example, EJ Johnson and Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson fully supports EJ, right? So there are some black families that are progressive and they support, but the dominant conversation is this. It's just this constant tension between LGBTQIA and black cis heterosexual people. And what I want to say is that, first of all, I just think it really pissed me off because he's not forcing a sex change on Zaya just because he is supporting her transition, and he's just listening to her saying, hey, I support you. You want to transition? I'm listening to you. I'm still your father. I got your back. Like, he's just supporting his child. But no, I just want people to know that, like, in the state of California, you cannot legally get a sex change until you're the age of 18. Okay, so that's something that is fact, right? And it just annoys me that, like, particularly the black community as a whole, the ones who are not the progressives, right? I don't even want to make it just a political thing, but the ones who are just not open-minded, right? It's constantly this thing of like demonizing trans people, gay people, LGBTQ people. And I just think it's a thing of like, what I will say is that in this conversation, when I was like kind of reading the comments and it's giving me a headache, I think it's also a thing of some people feel like, oh, because they is 14, so they also feel like, and this is what the other side feels. I don't feel this way. But the other side feels, oh my God, it's too early. Like, you're 14. Like, are you sure you want to transition? Like, those are some of the comments that you see. Like, how could you let your child go through this? They don't even really know who they are, So there's that mixed energy as well. So there are some people who are kind of in the middle of like, I support, but not really. And then there's some people who are just flat out transphobic, like, nah, you're causing harm. And they're using it, painting Dwayne Wade as he's literally forcing, like Candace Owens' trifling ass came out and she was like, oh my God, I just saw a statement that she released on her social media where she was saying, and I don't even follow her by the way, she was saying that basically Dwayne Wade is forcing mutilation, trigger warning, sorry for my trans watchers, sorry for that trigger warning, but that Dwayne Wade is forcing that on Zaya Wade, and it's disgusting and so forth, right? A lot of people are dumb when it comes to these conversations, and I just really wish that people would create space for that young, trans child who is, growing in self, right? I'm sure that they've had conversations, but the child literally is not medically even transitioning, y'all. Y'all gotta calm down. So it's just, I don't know. And let's say if Zaya didn't even transition, let's say if Zaya was like, hey, I'm a gay, cis guy or whatever, let's just say hypothetically if Zaya, pre-transition was like, I'm just this, support me. Black people, we could just be so critical, and I just want us to do fucking better. It's just very exhausting, and it just really put me in a space last week, and it gave me a headache, so shout out to you, Zaya. Zaya deserves protection. Dwayne Wade did respond to his ex-wife. He called her out for the multiple allegations. Now, the wife went and did this in court, but she hasn't even seen Zaya in 10 years. And also, Dwayne literally exposed her, and I think he deleted his Instagram because I couldn't find it no more, job. But he's also said how, first of all, you haven't even seen your daughter in 10 years. 10 years ago, you tried to do the same thing about something else that had nothing to do with her gender. 10 years ago, when Zaya was 4 years old, you tried to do something else, where you were coming out with all these allegations and lies against me and my character. And not only that, Dwayne was like, you don't even mention how she's doing good in school. She's a straight A student, how much she wanted you around, and how you have promised to come see her. You didn't even come see your child. You didn't even do nothing for your child. Yet you're trying to be in court about this for some fame, and you're saying that he's doing it for financial gain. Dwayne Wade doesn't even need the money. It's just so annoying. Oh my God, it gives me a fucking headache. It really does. It really, really does. And I don't think it's an issue for allowing a trans teenager to transition, and not even medically, because people keep forgetting that you also have to, when you transition, you're transitioning socially as well. That's with the dressing and the clothing and all of that. You're socializing yourself, you're expressing yourself, right? And I don't know, my heart goes out to Zaya, because I remember being 14 and knowing who I was at that age. But and I don't want to get too personal, because I don't like a lot of people in my personal business, and I might give y'all something on Patreon about a more in-depth story about my life, but I don't really like to be all in my tea like that. But what I will say is that I remember being that age and feeling so like confined, right? And I already knew that I was a woman, like a girl or whatever. I already knew that was something that was there. I already knew, like, it was something that was innate, right? I already knew it. But I remember like not having that family support and wanting so badly to transition, because also too, the earlier that you transition, the better the results are when you transition, right? And it's easier to socialize and so forth in some cases, especially if you have a family. But looks wise, you look better too. The earlier the better, because transition is a second puberty of sorts, right? So trans people deal with that, after they usually face their first puberty, right? And if you're medically transitioning with hormones, without surgery, right? But if you're doing it with hormones first, it is like a second puberty. It is in a big way. But I just think my heart goes out to Zaya, because it's just so disappointing, and I feel like they just need to like really do better. And not Zaya, but the mom. It's just like, this is such a mess. And yeah, it's a mess. But Zaya and Dwayne and Gabrielle, I really appreciate how they are an example. And by the way, when I bring up the black community, I'm a black person. I don't hate being black or nothing like that. So none of you get in the fucking comments talking about this is anti-black. This is not fucking anti-black. There are some black people who are bigots, and it's okay to just fucking say what it is. I'm not gonna do this whole debating with you motherfuckers about religion and politics. I'm not doing all that with you. If you're in my comments, your ass is getting fucking blocked for that, right? We all can have our opinions, we can all have our views, but it's like when people are lying, trying to paint this guy as like a predator, y'all are taking it too fucking far, and y'all play into that narrative about trans people. Right, so I might get some pushback. I might get some crazy comments in my comments. But if you get in my comments showing out, you're gonna be fucking blocked. You're not gonna be up here talking and disrespecting me. I already went through that shit last week, and I've been lighting people up, child, on my socials. Okay, so but people can have their opinions all day long. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with supporting a child who's trans, even if you're not black, Latino, brown, Latinx, white, whatever you are. I think that what people have to understand is that trans people are so marginalized, and as we have this conversation, I'm not trying to be the trans savior. I'm not. We already have girls who are that. I feel like there's a lot of responsibility. No shades to them. I love what they do. I think they're doing great. Some of the advocate girls, right? This is just a conversation that we're having as people, and I think my goal with bringing this topic up is just to humanize us, and give validity to our experiences, our real experiences, right? It's crazy, what's going on with them. But, they have my support. And if you are in my comments talking shit, leave my page. You don't have to be here. Someone was in my comments talking about, tell me why. Someone left this crazy ass comment. And I'm trying to not give y'all too much energy, because I'm not trying to participate in that. But they were basically like, tell me how a man could be a woman. I won't believe you until you can show me this. Why are you on my fucking page? You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna interrupt this party, girl. Y'all could do whatever y'all want to do, girl. But y'all trying to read and be cute in these comments, and you will get read back, girl, if I have the time and if I feel like it, right? But don't do it. You're just gonna get blocked, girl. We could have a blocking party all day. I just don't appreciate the disrespect, you know? But shout out to you, Zaya. Shout out to you, Zaya. And, you know, you do have people who advocate for you and support you. If you're on YouTube, I know that she is protective of her energy and herself. And it's just so beautiful to see a black family supporting their trans child. That's something that you just don't fucking see. You know what I mean? So to have that existing now, it just shows you like how far, you know, we've all come in a way. So it's not like totally bad. I just think that I get within our intra community, you have the conservatives, then you have the ones that are progressive, then you have the ones who are in between, where they're kind of like half-ass progressive, half-ass conservative, you know, in some ways. Which in a way, I feel like all of us are kind of like that in some instances, depending on, you know, political beliefs and things like that, which we will not discuss on my channel. But what I will say, sorry for burping, I support y'all. And that situation was crazy. Before I wrap up, Takeoff also died. R.I.P. to you, Takeoff. My thoughts on that with Takeoff is it's very unfortunate. It just seems like it was a situation that he got hit with a stray bullet, and they said that they were playing dominoes or something like that up in Houston somewhere, you know, and it was just one of those random situations. So, you know, R.I.P. Takeoff. That was such a shocking thing. Last week was crazy. I think that happened last Tuesday, I think, or last Monday. Woke up Tuesday hearing that information. I was like, what is going on? Last week was intense. I don't know what was going on last week, but last week it was just like negative. It was negative in every way. Oh, it was such a negative week last week. But we don't want negativity. We want positivity here, right? So as I wrap up, we have a few more minutes left here. Y'all know I always give a little. I'm gonna give more inspiration as I wrap up this video and audio podcast episode. Like I said in the previous one of episode 65, stay encouraged. You know, stay strong. Keep your head up out here. It is November. We should all. It's the fourth quarter. Okay. So what I did in January of this year is I wrote out a list of like goals. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I don't believe in that because people often fall off with that. I just write goals, right? So I made a list of goals, and you know, I just encourage us, if you have goals, check in, and if you don't, you can write new goals for November that you want to do. Like I still have my old goals from earlier this year, and I have my new goals for what I want to do for the remainder of the year. And some of my goals I didn't hit, some goals I did hit, but I'm really proud of how overall throughout the year I've been getting things done. And I want you to be proud of yourself too. It's November. I want y'all to just like be proud of yourself and how far you've come. Wherever you are in your life, rather you're like trans and you're watching me and you're getting some inspiration, you're just starting your transition, or you're a regular old degular, you know, cisgender, aka bio person. I know people, that's like more of an old school term, like they call it like the biological girls, you know, things like that. It's problematic, it is. But if you're just anybody watching this content, like, be proud of where you are today. Take it one day at a time. I know we're all going through it. We all got like our own through it. And we all have our own things in life going on, our own mental health issues, all types of things like that, right? So just take it one day at a time. Take it one day at a time. I fucking love this hair, bitch. This hair is cute, girl. This hair is cute. Yes, this hair is cute, honey. Yeah, but take it one day at a time. Be gentle. Let's just be gentle with ourselves in November. My message with November is slow down. That's our message. We've been going hard in 2022. 2022 has had its challenges. I voted today. Voting day is tomorrow. Get out and vote, okay? Oh, I'm glad I said that. Midterm elections are real. Your what's going on in your state is very, very real. You need to take it seriously. I don't care if you're not political. You better act political, girl. Honey, research your voters guide in your area if you are on the liberal side of things, but take advantage of that. Don't just sit there. Even if you don't understand politics, you do not have to understand politics fully to still be informed. As long as you know how to read and write, you'll be okay. Take your ass to the polls and vote. It's November 8th tomorrow. Actually, it's already November 8th. It's late here. But, you know, we all have to know what's going on in our communities and within our states and things like that. And I'm not even a political girl. That's not my thing. Shout out to Amanda Sills. I'm not Amanda Sills. I'm Khalif Stark's child. You know, some people, that's their thing, right? But I still feel like we can contribute, you know, because these things still affect us. Like, we are still disadvantaged, right? If you're a working class person, person of color, LGBTQ person, you have no business being a goddamn Republican child, okay? Girl, okay? Let's just be realistic about where we are in this world, okay? Go ahead and vote and take advantage of that and, you know, use your voice and cast that ballot even if you're tired. I understand. Thank you all for watching. This was so fun. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you all so much. Drop down below. Tell me what you thought. Comments. I embrace them all. Thank you. No negativity. Bye. Let me wrap this up, child. Bye, y'all. Bye.